Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. In our team meeting today, we talked about shared values. We all love football in that room, those players and coaches for the most part, and most of us have been doing this and enjoying this game for a long time in our backyards and in our Pop Warners and high schools. It holds a prominent position in our value structure, I would say. Then we have a situation such as happened in Monday Night Football where one of our football brothers, Damar Hamlin, is injured. And at that moment, we are slapped, I guess, back to reality. And the players and the coaches on that field recognized that football was now placed in an inferior position in that value structure to life itself. And it's a reminder that all that we're doing and all that we're seeing and experiencing, there's something larger that looming above that that's much more important that we need to pay attention to. And so it calls us to attend to that, to behold that. And the reaction on the field to me is perfectly representative of that natural reaction of that value that we hold of life. Knees were taken, hands were grabbed. We were faced with something far superior. And you saw the men and women on that field humble themselves to that mystery. And they grabbed their brothers and sisters and sought assistance and sought strength. It was from both jersey colors and staff and support people. They all were in that mode where we needed each other. And they did that without anybody telling them to do so. They just reacted. Well, we all share that, I believe. We all have that in us. When we do that yet today, to Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills, Damari Mathis, your teammate, our teammate, told us all about you. He told us of your high character and your friendliness, and he told us of your incredible ability to lead people to a loving commitment to others, community service and raising other people up. That's a remarkable thing. So today, Damar, we honor you. Today, we will strive to be better in the areas of our lives that you were so good at, and you will, with all due course and prayers, return to. We'll strive not to exalt ourselves, but rather raise others up like you did, especially those who are laid low, like you did. So for now, while you're recovering, we're here to raise you up, man. We support you, and even those of us that don't know you, we offer our love. You're one of our football brothers. And to Damar's family and teammates, we extend our hands to you to provide you with strength and comfort and hope, and our prayers are there with you for your healing as well. We can only imagine what you're going through. So to Damar and the family, we want you to know that the Broncos are with you. And with that, I'll open up the floor for questions.
Any of your players really shaken to the core that needed maybe some special counsel?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Mike. It's hard to gauge that, but what action that the organization took so rapidly and appropriately, I would add, was really impressive. I mean, we got information that we had, as you know, we were off, so our people here in the building got information to our players where they could, if they needed counseling, they needed help, if they needed spiritual guidance, if they needed anyone in the building, that we were there for them, and all those resources were available, as did the NFL, I would add. And so how many players sought that and the depth to which they participated in that, I really don't have that information, but I know they utilized it, and we said that again today in the team meeting. Vince Garcia went through in great detail the support that's at a typical NFL game site. And my understanding was that at the Cincinnati Bengals stadium, that kicked in quickly and effectively, and we're all praying, obviously, that all those measures that are taken, all those precautions and all the practice and all the training that those people go through came through in this instance. That's our prayer.
Coach, how do you handle the beauty of the game compared to the danger?
That's the beauty of the game compared to the danger of the game. I think the danger of the game is real. We have a lot of guys injured this year. We have a lot of guys on IR, and that is a risk that those that are participating in the game are aware of. So they're here and they're willing to take that risk. And they find enough value in the game itself to take that risk and walk out there. And I think along with that, I think the National Football League in general and the players specifically and the Players Association, I would add, has made good strides in making sure that this game is as safe as it possibly can be without damaging the nature of the game. And the players also are aware of that, I think more to a larger extent than ever before, where they respect the opponent. They are the opponent, let there be no doubt. When you cross the line, that's them. But at the same time, again, I guess I could go back to the original talk about the value structure. They value and recognize that those other guys on the other side of the field are doing the same thing they are, and they respect that. I think you see that quite frequently before games, and you see that quite frequently after games where players and even coaches are embracing and they're exchanging jersey, and that's a sign to me of the respect that they have for one another, because that is a shared risk.
Jerry, can you expound on, you said Damar Mathis spoke of Damar, his teammate at Pitt. Can you just describe what that moment was like?
Well, Damar asked me to represent his message. I spoke to him yesterday, and our staff spoke to him immediately on Monday night. And I spoke to him again this morning and asked him if he wanted to get up in front of the team, and he declined that opportunity, but he was willing and able to describe Damar's characteristics to me so I could represent his thoughts.
Coach, how is Damar Mathis doing with all of this?
Yeah, that's a question I would really have a difficult time answering. I mean, we're all sensitive to his particular situation, I would say, and we're providing all the support we possibly can, but I don't think I could provide you an accurate picture of how he's feeling.
Coach, going back to the conversations you had about resources available on game day.
Yes, sir.
Do you have or do guys have reservations that you could sense that it's going to be hard to play a game this Sunday, and especially if you guys aren't fighting for a playoff spot? And,
Yeah, I understand the scope of your question, but I think I addressed that, and how much these players respect this game and how much they enjoy this game and love this game, and they accept that. I suspect they are also contemplating, like we all are, its place in the value structure. I mean, it's real. I think, as I said previously, and I don't want to go back and reiterate, but they can recognize all that, and I do, and I'm sure you all do the same thing, that football is not nearly as important as what Damar is going through, but at the same time, it doesn't diminish it. It's at the same place. Football is really important to these guys. What happened didn't move the football downward. It still occupies the same place in the structure, in my view. But we have to recognize, we have to behold those things above that and honor that, but at the same time, we're going to go play a game. And these guys, they're pros, man. I'm so impressed by their attitudes about this. I will be highly surprised if we don't have a great practice today.
You've been around the game a long time. In the decades that's been the case, have you seen a change in how players talk with other players talk with coaches, just in terms of what they mean to each other, or what, the sort of
Yeah,
scope
I
of
think I
talking about
understand the scope of your question. I think what you see now, the rules changed, obviously. I'm reminded in days gone by where free safeties would just take shots at wide receivers to the head, and all these things that have gone on and back in the day, as they say. And I've seen a conscious effort by the National Football League to clean that up. I think it's been highly effective. I think that you've seen the players adjust to those kind of things. Now, this isn't necessarily the topic of today, but yes, I think these players are making strides to respect one another, but also play football at its highest level in the proper fashion.
Time for a few more for the coach?
You mentioned you do have a football game this weekend.
Yes.
As you look at the football standpoint, do you expect Justin will continue to call plays? And after a week on the job, anything else you're considering changing?
Yeah, okay. Yes, Justin will continue to call plays. A lot was going on last week when this was all being put together, and the conversation with Justin and Clint and the offensive coaches was a long process. He will continue to call plays. Clint will continue to be on the sideline with Russell Wilson, and I'm hoping that this event with Damar notwithstanding, I hope that we've had more time now. I know I've had more time. I've had a better opportunity to approach this game from a technical standpoint, a schematic standpoint. I've watched tape. I've seen their players. I understand now better than I did a week ago what we're faced with. And I also probably have a better understanding of ourselves, having been on the sideline and watched practice from a different context. And so to your question about change, I would say, well, if you go out and lose a football game, you better not stand pat. So you better do something different. I mean, you watch that last game, and what was the difference in the game? Well, I saw some things on offense that I liked. Our run defense remained strong, and our ability to run the ball was pretty good. But they beat us with explosive plays. I mean, they had like 6 explosive plays, I think, and we had 2, and one of them was unfortunately readjusted. So that, in order to play against the team that I see on tape now, we need to, I don't want to help them and still answer your question. I respect your question. We need to do a better job than we did a week ago of fitting the pieces together. I mean, the run game is fine, but if you don't have action off of that opens up and gets the ball to your playmakers downfield, and you don't have moving the pocket, those kind of things that come off the run game, we need to get the ball in our playmakers' hands. I mean, I think I mentioned this earlier. I love the way Cortland Sutton plays his game, and we have Jerry Judy's had a really good couple of weeks. We need to find a way to not play this game in a box, I guess I would say. And we also need to be defensively. I mean, we did a lot of good things. I mean, the three and outs that we had in the second half, what used to call that a knockout back in a previous position. And that's hard to overcome, but their offense overcame that with explosive plays, and they beat us in the red zone. We didn't play very well in the red zone on defense, and I know our coaches are working on that. So, change, yeah, we lost, so we better change something. We better improve.
For everybody in the sport, and you as well, how much is compartmentalization important, like, as far as acknowledging and hurting and dealing with what happened to Damar? But everyone being able to go out and do their jobs.
Yeah, I recognize that, and that's a word we have used here, because when you come to work and there's all that thing going on, I'm hopeful, I would say. I don't know, but I'm hopeful. I know this for me. I can only speak for myself. I don't know how others would handle this, but when I go across that white line over there, I'm where I belong. I feel like this football field is a place that I can enjoy, and it's freeing to me. It's just, I've been around football a long time. I really love football, and I like going out there. I like going across that line. I think these players, in their own way, perhaps, and some, obviously, everybody's got their own feelings about it, but I'm hoping that's a sanctuary where they can go out there and enjoy one another's company and support each other and play the game.
Thank you very much. Last one, Brandon.
You've been in the game for a long, long time.
That's now 2 people have told me how old I am.
Experience. A lot of us, not all of us, but we've been also around for a while. But when you look at just the resources available when an event outside of the
Yes,
lines,
yes.
or out of the norm happens, I guess how encouraged are you that at least most of the players across the league can seek those resources and
Yes.
I guess be able to move on or depart
Yes,
more
yes.
easily than they would have before?
Yes, I think I have I'm sure glad we waited for that question, because I have deep-seated feelings about this. In my career, there's been a couple players that have gone wayward after their careers ended, and this is something that's really, really important to me, and that's why I was doing the work with Next Gen Hyperbaric, and I partnered with those people to try to help some of our our brothers, that it's a difficult thing as you all are working in media, so your careers, if they go well, last a lot longer than a football career does. And when you leave this football career, it's cut off and you're still a young man, and there's so much more life left. And the NFLPA and the National Football League are working hard to try to make that transition easier, providing health services and so forth. Not only while you're playing, but also thereafter. And that's something I'm dedicated to. I want to help. And the company I'm working with is interested in doing that and want to help. There's so many ways of doing that. So yeah, it's better than it was. And I think that also we all look at things and we become more enlightened as we pay more attention, and there's still so many things that we can do. I mean, I have a forgive me, but you asked me a question, so Patrick keeps talking about landing the plane, but I'm gonna soar this one for a few minutes. There's also, my father was a World War II veteran, and so he was a POW in European theater, and he was much like some of our players when they leave the game, they need assistance. And he needed assistance, and there was none. Our VA has gotten better, but still has a long way to go. And there's many programs that are going on, just like we were doing with the NFL, to try to help those that are involved in those kind of situations. And you all know what those are. So those things are deeply rooted in me. I want to help those people in some way I can, and that's what I was trying to do when I was away from football. And when I'm away from football again on Monday, I'm going to pick up that and go back to work. Thank you.